Hey team, and welcome. I'm your host, Carrie, creator of Mother Life, your destination for all things real talk and parenting. This is the IRL group chat, where we talk about the wild balancing act of pursuing careers and passions while also doing our best to show up for our kids. Join me every week as I sit down with some badass parents in my closet and we talk about their careers, kids, and relationships and all of the weird shit that comes up when you're trying to balance the seemingly impossible. Well, it's a podcast first. A parent doing an IRL interview with us in the closet while breastfeeding the entire time. And she remained coherent? That's heroic stuff in my book. Not to mention there was a toddler with a tummy ache and a grandpa's back up in tow downstairs. The level of composure was just very elite shit. Luckily, I got to spend an hour with Emily and find out where all this Zen master energy comes from, and let me tell you, the breastfeeding while interviewing matches the backstory to a T. Growing up, Emily Beyda knew two things. She wanted to be a writer and she wanted to be a mom. She knew it when she was small enough to know she wanted to write Junie B. Jones. She knew it watching her mom deliver babies as a midwife, making their living room feel like the epicenter of a warm and welcoming community, Rod Stewart included. And she's been able to do both of those things for herself. Well, I don't know about the Rod Stewart part, but you get the idea. Listening to Emily's childhood felt like a peek inside of a bygone era of Los Angeles life. More historical artifact than anything I could personally relate to, which made it somehow otherworldly, enchanting. She grew up in the Los Feliz of yore, before it became this sceney and chic place in a house where her dad was a film editor and her mom was a botanist turned film school student dropout turned editor turned doula turned midwife turned founder of a food recovery nonprofit. Oh, that's a lot. Her mom delivered her children, both of them, at home, which tells you basically everything you need to know about where Emily is coming from. How it translates into her own practice is where it does get pretty exciting for me, though. How she thinks about division of labor, how she thinks about the whole family as a system, and what that means in the practice of living a full life for everyone. Emily is the author of the thriller The Body Double. She also writes Backseat Babies, KCRW's wildly popular newsletter for parents in LA. She's deeply committed to the idea that parenting does not have to be child-centered in the kind of way that swallows your whole self. She took her baby to literary readings with a monitor on her belt. She did a house swap in Costa Rica. She spent a month in Berlin with a toddler and a pregnant belly. She brings her babies always, and she wants you to know that most places outside of the US are actually much better set up for this than you might think. I hope you enjoy this episode. It's such a good time. And remember, as we approach episode 100, we are trying to get as many reviews as we can. So if you're a regular listener or if this is your first time here, go on Apple Podcasts, go on Spotify, wherever you listen, like and review. It really does make a difference. Enjoy this conversation. It was so much fun to have. Welcome to the closet to both of you.
Thank you. Hello.
Oh my God, I can't even. Yeah, I know.
It's so nice to be here. What a lovely closet you have.
Thank you. It's multi-purpose. Nothing's going to waste.
We love it. We love a low-waist queen.
Yeah, I know. I was like, okay. I was doing my research about you, going through your gram, getting a picture, and I was like, and then you come into my house, you have your two beautiful children, your wonderful dad, who will have to talk about what a gangster he is for just being here and being helpful. I knew before you unzipped that child's onesie, I was going to see a reusable diaper.
Oh yeah, please.
I knew we were going to be cloth diapering. Sometimes I look at people and I'm like, you did a home birth, didn't you? You did an unmedicated birth. And today, I don't know about those things. You'll tell me. But I did know I was very likely going to get a cloth diaper. And I did.
You did. And I'll tell you what, my mom was my midwife. So the instincts never fail you. Apparently.
Okay, so we're going to go through, you know the deal. We're going to go through what Emily was like growing up. We're going to get to today. Big part of the impetus for today was Backseat Babies, talking about what you're doing now.
I'm very excited to talk about that.
But I'm also really excited to talk about your sort of professional journey and how it is to be a creative that I imagine needs concentration and presence when you're writing and have your kids around all the time and how you navigate that. I want to talk about what is it culturally that you think we love about a crime thriller sort of suspense. You might have something to say about that. And the wanderlust thing, because huge before my life, before kids, before COVID, huge traveler, constantly, monthly, internationally, always. And then I had kids and it's been a very different chapter for me. And I'm watching the way that you're navigating your own adventures and they haven't really stopped. And so I want to talk about how you're navigating all of that. Okay?
All right, I'm psyched.
Okay. So we have an LA native in the house. What part of LA did you grow up in?
So I grew up in Los Feliz, in like the Los Feliz kind of Hollywood adjacent border. Franklin.
What was that like when you were growing up? Because obviously now it's a scene.
Yes, now it's very, very shishy. When we were growing up, my dad always tells the story that it was like a really funky kind of bohemian neighborhood, and Ione Skye lived up the street. And like Flea was dating her, so he would be riding his bicycle around the neighborhood like naked. So it was that was very much the vibe. Our next door neighbor was the Babbitts family, of whom Eva Babbitts is probably the famous.
Ooh.
Her mother May was a big force in our lives too, kind of like this matriarch of the family, and all the sisters were always coming through, and it was just a really fun bohemian place to grow up, but also a lot funkier. Like my dad always talks about when I was born. He took me out for a walk in my baby carriage.
Yeah.
And all of the neighborhood, like, drug dealers and sex workers were coming by and like, oh, what a cute baby. And
yeah.
Like, oh, this is my daughter's neighborhood.
Well, that's the kind of thing, right? Is like, no matter what your profession is, you were also a child, and children are universally present and sort of a common language for a lot of people, whether or not you have them.
And I think it can be really unifying, too. The experience of motherhood really can transcend, like, class and can transcend this otherwise sort of fragmented experience that we have a lot of the time as adults. Like, you can see someone who's completely unlike you in every way, and they can connect either through the experience of being a child or being a mother. That's something that since Simone was born, I think we were talking about this earlier, hates being in the car, loves being on public transit, and obviously if you're in a train in LA, you're meeting people from like every walk of life.
Totally.
And they're all just psyched to see a baby.
Yeah.
All like, it makes everyone's day better to have a baby around,
It's true. Did you hear that? It makes everybody's day better to have a baby around.
Right.
Unless you're on an airplane, apparently, because then people really have strong opinions about
baby. Depends on what the baby is doing, I think. Yes.
I don't care about having babies on airplanes anymore, but definitely before I had kids, I would never obviously say something.
But would you be full of dread?
But I would just be like, oh no, I'm not going to sleep on this plane,
For sure.
whatever. And now I'm just like, can I help you in
know,
any way?
I know, it's so sweet.
Do you need me to, I'm a total stranger. Do you want me to hold your child?
You can definitely tell too. It's so sweet how like people will immediately clock you, and like, you can tell the moms, and you can see the dads. You can just see people being like, okay,
yeah, and then you're like, and then you clock them. You're like, you're a safe person.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a safe person. I'm gonna send the jerk in aisle 6 to you or whatever.
Totally right. Like I recently took my first flight solo with the kids because we were going to a friend's wedding, and like my husband had work. It was like a whole thing. So we flew to Austin, just the two of us, or the three of us.
Three.
Yeah, I didn't count Momo. 2 seats, 3 babies, 3 people. And we got on, and the guy next to us, like, looks really intense. He has, like, a hoodie on. He gets out his laptop. He's, like, coding. And I'm like, oh, no, this poor man is going to be, like,
not happy.
But then he just starts, like, making faces and joking with the baby. And he's like, oh, I have a 7-year-old. And I'm like, phew, thank God.
Don't judge a book by its hoodie.
Yeah, exactly.
And code.
And he still got his coding done, so all was well.
That is so impressive. Okay, so you grew up in sort of this bohemian Los Feliz in the days of yore.
Yeah, truly.
And what were your parents? Were they working? What were they doing when you were growing up?
Yeah, so my mom has a really interesting career trajectory. She trained as a botanist.
Cool. That's like a job that kids want to have before they get disillusioned by the world.
Cool. It's true. That's something I really admire about her. And then came to UCLA for film school.
Wait, she was a botanist and then was like, I think I'll go to film school?
Film school.
Sure. Okay.
Dropped out of film school. Became an editor. Hired my dad on a movie called Saturday the 14th.
Sure.
And he fell in love with her immediately because she's fabulous and a force of nature. And he always tells a story about, like, they're in an editorial meeting and he just, like, looks at her in her blue sweater and her blue eyes and he just thinks, like, oh, I love her so much.
Oh,
so
sweet.
she was his boss, so she did not get me too.
Okay. She didn't get me too.
Canceled, Mom. And yeah, then we were born, and her mom was the breadwinner of their family and supported their family, which obviously was very unusual for that era. And as soon as she had kids, she kind of realized, like, hey, it's really important for me to be with my kids. I don't want to be working like crazy film hours. I want to be with my kids. So they made it work. My dad kept editing, and my mom was home with us until we were, I don't even exactly know when her midwife training began. Well, sometime when I was in elementary school, when everyone was like, you know, they have a few more hours to yourself finally.
Yeah.
Read a little bit. She retrained as a doula because she wanted to kind of share her birth experience with other people.
Again, doula before her time. Los Feliz before the time. Doula before the time.
So then she became a midwife, and then she went on to found a amazing food recovery nonprofit called Food Cycle, and I'm so proud of her. And so she's been such a model to me in my own mothering, because it's really like, I think in our society we can get so obsessed with the idea of career as being linear.
Yeah. Yeah.
And being like, okay, you check off all the boxes and you move through the steps and you get promoted and you're going up the ladder and everything is like up on a line. And for a lot of us, especially as creative people, we were talking about this earlier, it's not really that way.
No.
It's zigging and it's zagging and it's back and it's forth, and we're doing one thing, we're doing another thing. And I think it having that example as a kid was such a good model to, like, your life can change so much and you can try being so many different kinds of people.
Yeah.
And it's not failure.
That must have also felt very safe as a kid.
Yeah, totally.
Because there can't be a pressure, you got to do it this way, because it's like your parents aren't doing it that way. So
exactly. Although my dad did have a very linear career. He was an editor, and he's always an editor. And he's always
but that's like still kind of creative.
Oh, incredible.
Like
yeah.
he can't be looking at you being like, you got to be a lawyer.
Oh no, for sure. I mean, I think maybe some parents react to that kind of like uncertainty of having a creative career by wanting their kids to have that stability, and that's very much to my parents' credit that they didn't do that, because you know it can be crazy and there can be like months between jobs and it can be very stressful.
Yeah, it is stressful
for sure, because it's kind of like the income equivalent of doing the monkey bars in the dark. You're just putting your hand out and you're hoping the next bar is going to be there.
Yeah, it's total blind faith, and people often say, like, if you can do anything else, do that other thing. And the people who remain are the ones that have, like, the compulsion and the grit and the passion that sort of puts their blinders on, that they can't imagine doing anything else with their life.
Yeah, it's kind of like a very LA manifestation thing. Like, if you think the bar's going to be there, well, I guess it's got to be there.
Let's hope it shows up.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're growing up in this very sort of progressive on all fronts household.
Yes, very much
You're
so.
one of three.
Yeah.
Where are you in the order?
I'm the oldest daughter, please.
Okay.
We not keep to the organizational skills over here.
I know that. Well, you know, you're
I
like a
will
woo-woo
say-
eldest daughter.
Exactly. And to be fair, all credit to my sister. She's the real oldest daughter of the family.
Yeah.
She's the
Which
one with, like,
is that the middle?
she's the middle child. She is the one with like the most impressive job. She like runs her own business. She's so organized. She has 2 kids. She's just like incredible. I'm so in awe of her every day. So she's
How many years
daughter.
are there between you?
It's 3. So
Okay, we're the
youngest
same.
brother- yeah, it's a good gap, I think.
Okay, so eldest daughter, creative woo-woo energy.
For sure. But also like kind of weirdly practical secretly under the seams, you know, as the oldest daughter has to be.
I believe that because of some of your creative projects. Like if I think about Backseat Babies, which we'll get to later, or if I think about even when you were doing the Dear Glutton column, right? Like all of that requires sort of encyclopedic knowledge of things.
For sure.
And so you right, so you have to like deep dive and be a little systematic in how you're thinking about who you're recommending something to do. What it requires a lot of consideration that I do think is a little eldest daughter energy.
Oh, big time. And I think that is something that I am kind of like always struggling with, is my impulse is always to like ask more questions and look for more information and kind of like dig deeper instead of just like,
yeah,
okay, let's just be satisfied with whatever you have.
I
never want to go to the same restaurant twice. It drives my husband crazy.
Yeah. Same.
We've been to that restaurant.
Same.
I want to go to a different one. We have to know all the restaurants.
Yes. Same. Okay. You and I can go to a different restaurant together. Because, yeah, my husband would very much like to stay in a 5-minute radius of our house.
Regular.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I'm like, I don't ever want to be the regular. I always want to try. I want it both ways. I want everybody to know who I am when I walk in. And also I want to have never been here before.
Oh, totally.
But, and I also think some of that is like the journalistic creative piece of the curiosity thing that some people, like, I was like that. Like, I accidentally got a master's and a PhD because I just kept going. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I was like, but I need to know more. I need to understand this. How does this work? And I will do that about anything. I'll be like, oh, you're building a guitar, then I go down a rabbit hole about building a guitar, even though I'm never going to build a guitar.
So that totally makes sense that you ended up having a long form interview podcast.
Exactly.
Just like digging in. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I have so much respect for people who can do like the short bites of things, but I need to know everything. And in that vein, we're going to talk about, so you're the eldest of 3. You're living in this creative household. Growing up, did you have a sense of like what you might want your life to look like? Were you like, I love Los Feliz. I never want to leave Los Feliz. I want to travel the world. Like what were you sort of thinking about for yourself?
Well, I don't know. I feel like those parts of it, like the material parts kind of stayed a little bit more numinous. But the 2 things that I always wanted was I always wanted to be a writer and I always wanted to be a mom. And ever since I was like really, really little, I wanted to write novels. I didn't know what a novel was, but like I wanted to write Junie B. Jones or whatever the equivalent is for a second grader. And I wanted to have children. I wanted to like have a family in the way that my mom got to do, because it just seemed like so much fun. And I got to do both those things, and I feel very lucky, Although I did also want to be an opera singing veterinarian, I believe.
Sure.
Which did not pan out for me, but maybe someday. I might circle back.
You know what? It's not too late.
If we learned anything from Nancy.
Yeah, I feel like it's... Who didn't want to be a marine biologist? I grew up in Florida, and that everybody, like we were all going to be marine biologists. Everybody, or an archaeologist also.
I'd love to see the numbers on that.
Yeah, I feel like those were very popular ones.
It's got to have been like one, right? Like one
somebody it had to have panned out for. I almost did go the full archaeology route.
Really?
Yeah, like I studied it in college and like was in the dirt trying to recreate.
Indiana Jones?
Right.
Great.
Yeah, that would have been, or Laura Croft, I mean.
Yeah, it's truly.
Right? Not minus the tomb raiding.
And I guess Indiana Jones minus the child predation.
Yeah. We won't go too into it, but they did have good outfits.
They did, God love them.
And they had some swagger. So you kind of had these high-level goals and ideas, in part inspired by the home that you grew up in. For your mom, when she becomes a midwife, how are you interacting with that as a child at all? Is she like talking about it? Are you like, was she going to people's homes for appointments? Like, tell me, what was your exposure to that?
Well, I think it started out being very close to home because when she was training as a doula, she did the births of a lot of my elementary school friends, like younger siblings. Like my friend Savannah, she was a doula for her younger sibling Jimmy's birth. Like a lot of people were having their 3rd child.
Wow.
So she was like delivering all of her friends' babies, which was very cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah. And then as we grew up, clients would be in the house all the time. Like I remember famously one time I came downstairs in my pajamas and it was like a teenager, I don't know how old, maybe 14, 15. And Rod Stewart was sitting on the couch.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's just like all these people were always in her house with their babies. And then growing up a little older, she had a mother's group where there was always... She had a group for I think it was the first year until they started walking. People could bring their babies. And it would just be like the house full of moms and babies, and she'd make a big vegetarian lunch for everyone. So kind of growing up in that spirit of like community and communally raising your children and just being all this stuff being super normalized.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I grew up, which was nice.
Really unusual.
Yeah,
also.
Definitely. And I think when I stepped into the season of motherhood, that was something that I really intentionally tried to keep with me, is that idea of just like hosting and just having the house be an open place.
Yes.
People can come through. We're here to help. We're here to support,
And I wonder if when you came into your season of motherhood, you maybe were coming into it a little bit more eyes wide open.
I think so, yes. I do think so.
I had never really held a newborn besides once for a picture or twice for pictures with my nieces and nephews. I hadn't you spend a lot of time being pregnant and then you're thinking about I hope everything's okay in there. Yeah. I had spent very little time besides reading some books thinking about what happens when the baby gets out.
Yeah. And I think there's so much of our culture is sequestered away from motherhood. And I think that's because motherhood is kind of inherently anti-capitalistic, dare I say?
Yeah.
It's so non-productive.
Right.
And it's so just about really digging deep into these moments of sensation or experience. And you're not really making it. I mean, you're raising a child, obviously. I guess you're raising the next generation of workers.
Yeah. Productive. Look at those rolls on that baby.
Exactly. But it is non-productive in the material sense.
Yeah.
So I think that we're just not really interested in it culturally. It doesn't have that kind of glamour.
Do you feel like that's changing now?
I think a little bit, yeah.
I feel like motherhood's having a moment.
I think it is too. And I wonder if that's just because we're in it, so we're noticing it more. But I do think that it is becoming more talked about. And I think this is a really good thing.
I also think it's in part because a woman of a certain age is coming into motherhood, having been raised by a generation of feminists who were told lots of things, and people who listen to the pod regularly will like hear I talk about this a lot. It's just this idea that like women who are coming of age now into their full matrescence we're being told as kids, like, you can do anything and the world's going to come meet you. You can be a CEO and get paid what a male CEO gets paid, da 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 da. They're entering this world that didn't actually meet their moment.
Totally, yeah.
And so I think they're like, wait, what the fuck?
The narrative and the reality are very different. And then obviously now we're in a time of kind of backlash against that narrative.
Yeah.
Whole trad wife thing, and it's definitely a weird time to be a crunchy lady, because I definitely feel like there's some
I was
hair and they're like,
literally just gonna say
raw milk, or
yeah, you're like, no, I was woo-woo before it was cool.
Yeah, please.
And like my husband and I have division of labor and share
exactly.
things.
Like, you should see him doing the dishes. He's great at it. Bless.
Shout out, do the dishes. Do you put them in the dishwasher?
No, listen, he is.
I knew it.
He is a Virgo. Bless him. He is so organized. He has systems. I could never.
Okay. That sounds like a real cha-ching for you.
It really is. I appreciate it.
Okay, so you kind of know this direction you're going. You go to college in Austin, right?
No, I went.
Did you go to Texas?
Well, yeah, it's for graduate school.
For graduate school, okay.
I went to undergrad at NYU, and I was in.
Wait,
really
so was
weird...
I.
Oh no way! Hi. Hey,
When
bestie.
did you graduate?
I don't even remember.
Okay, we're both at NYU.
Yeah, so
great for us.
Probably at the same time.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm 35. I might be 36. I don't even know. Like I'm telling you, it's numbers. It's not my thing.
You're literally breastfeeding a child right now. You can do no wrong.
But whenever I graduated, I was in this really cool program where I did my first and second year abroad.
Yes.
Like comparative literature and translation.
Cool.
So I was only in New York for like 2 years, but I really loved it. I loved New York. I loved living different places. And then after I graduated, I went and lived in Vietnam for a while, came back here, nannied for a bunch of people while working on like creative writing stuff, and then grad school.
And then grad school in Texas.
And then I met my husband here right before I left for grad school, actually, like a year before.
What was that? How did it happen?
How did we meet?
Yeah.
Oh, man, this is a very funny story. So we met, embarrassingly enough, because a friend set us up. Like I said, I just moved back from Vietnam. I was kind of like, I don't really know what I want to do next. Classic. I think I was like 23 at the time. I was not looking to get into a relationship in any way. I was like, oh my God, leave me alone. And my friend was like, you need to meet this guy. And he was playing at the time in a band with her then boyfriend, now husband, who is a like professional kind of session musician. He plays with a lot of people, and these guys are just friends. So she invited me to come when they were filming their music video, and they put me next to my now husband hula hooping.
Sure.
Yeah. And we just started talking, and we really hit it off.
There's so many more embarrassing ways to meet than on the set of a music video. I
Well,
mean, the hula hooping part.
To be
is
fair,
great.
yeah. To be fair, I guess we had met previously at a friend's show very briefly, but this was like our first like long conversation. To be fair, the music video was being shot by another friend who had taken mushrooms that day, and it was a very chaotic and non-professional and I think unpermitted experience, but it was very fun. We had a good time. So now it's on the.
That sounds like the perfect place for the girl from Los Feliz.
Yeah, truly, right?
To have met her partner.
But the not very like bohemian eclectic thing is that like who thinks they're going to meet their husband when they're 23? You know, growing up in
Yes.
LA.
And so what was it about him that you were like, this is the guy?
Oh man, he's just so kind. He's just like such a deeply kind and considerate and thoughtful person. And with me, which obviously like I love, but just with everyone, like he's a teacher. I'm so proud of him. He teaches high school history at a public school here in LA, and his students are mostly like first generation. He teaches in English and Spanish. He's so empathetic to them, and like the way that he teaches, the way that he shows up for his community. He has all these like really good old friends that he's like talking to every day, which is so like what guy does that, you know?
That's, yeah.
He's just like a really, really loving and thoughtful person. And,
Okay, shout out. What's his name?
his name is Hari. His name is Hari Krishna.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Shout out Hari.
Hari Krishna, Hari, as you say.
Okay, so we have a multi-culti home.
Oh, truly, yeah.
And when you guys got together, how was it to blend sort of your backgrounds? Was it easy? Was it a negotiation in terms of like tradition, family style, expectations of in-laws? How did all of that work?
Yeah, I think it was shockingly easy. His Mom was just like super psyched that he had found a girl that he liked, I think, and she really wanted him to have babies, and he did not want to have babies. And then he met me, and he was like, "I want to have her babies," and she was like, "Great, I love you.
Yeah,
Welcome to
you
the
did
family."
it.
Yeah, exactly.
You did the unthinkable.
So they've all been very welcoming, and also all of his siblings are also married to white people, and he's the youngest. So I think
right.
She was like, "Great, welcome in."
Okay,
it's another one.
Wait, so we've been
local girls.
So we have an eldest daughter married to a youngest of 3.
Yes, I know.
Is there anything where you like look at him and you're like, really? You're just moving through the world thinking that? Because I feel like as a youngest, sometimes we're just kind of like happy to be here. Oh, things just kind of happen, or like, how wonderful.
I wish that I felt that way. Unfortunately, the dynamic is very much the opposite.
Where he's looking at you being
yes,
like...
yes, unfortunately. I think he is, I'm just very much an optimist, and I'm just like, everything's great. We're having a great time. Like, it's going to be fine. And he's just like a Virgo, and he has his spreadsheets, and he reads the news. So he's very, like, on it.
Okay. Okay, good. We have balance.
Yeah, exactly.
We have balance.
And he's very accommodating of my sort of like, never knowing what is going on sometimes.
I think
and
that is
other
good.
times I do really know what's going on, so there you go. That's fine.
But you've said before somewhere that your husband loves to travel.
He does, yes.
Now, was the love of travel something? I mean, obviously you had your Vietnam experience, you'd studied abroad. Yeah. Was it something that you had shared, or has he really poured the kerosene on the...
Oh gosh, we definitely shared it. I mean, on our first date, he tried to get me to go to Mexico City with him. Sure. Go to Cuba. He was leaving for Cuba the next day. I was house sitting, so I couldn't leave. There were these cats I had to feed, but otherwise I would have done it. That would have been a great story. Yeah, he went to Cuba for a month. He's like, "Come with me." And I'm like, okay. Well, I can't because I have to feed these cats, but in another life. Yeah, he loves traveling, and like I said, he's a teacher, and so he gets these breaks, and he's really structured, and we very much like...
He's got spreadsheets.
He's thinking about it. That's kind of like our thing, that's like where we put all of our disposable income, is like going on trips.
Now, he's a teacher, you're a creative. Yes. Not famously lucrative careers.
No, definitely not.
You're living in one of the most expensive cities in the world.
Yes, indeed. It's true. Like, how are we making it work?
No, like, do you feel this sort of... How are you making it work? You're making it work because parents just figure out how to make it work.
That's very true.
But, like, do you feel this sense of... I need to be thriftier. I need to be really creative in how I'm doing things and moving through the world. Like, how do you kind of...
Sure, yeah. But I think I've always kind of been that way. Because, like I said, I always knew that I wanted to be a novelist. And growing up, especially, like, next to Eve, who was so broke all the time. Like, even when she got famous, she was so broke. Every novelist that I know, like, growing up, my parents had a lot of friends that were writers. They were all so broke. They were living in the guest house, they didn't have any money. So I was like, okay, I'm just not going to have any money. That's fine. I'm going to figure it out. I really like thrifting. I really like cooking.
There was like a comfort with it.
Yeah. It's just like, I really need the security. Like, I've been like investing in the Roth IRA since I was in college. Like, I'm very like...
responsible.
Yeah, but I like think conservative.
Yeah.
Like, I have to like build a little bit of a framework. But then I'm like really, really, really thrifty other than that.
And the reason why I ask is because... I started my professional life as a journalist, and then I hit this point when I was living as a bottom of the totem pole in Hong Kong, and it was so expensive, and I was like at the New York Times, and I'm like, I'm gonna get my bylines and and I looked around at my friends, and some of them, many of whom have gone on to just be incredibly successful as journalists, were really comfortable being broke.
For sure.
And I felt so nervous about it. Yeah. And I think in part it's because I didn't actually have a lot of examples of people making it work when I was growing up.
I feel that.
But for you, you were just like, you had mirrors, you could see yourself.
Yeah, and I really have to, again, shout out to Hari, because he's providing the stability, he's providing the health insurance. It would be a lot harder if he wasn't doing that, God
health insurance, man. God bless you, Hari.
Truly. But, hopefully Gavin Newsom will give us all universal socialized healthcare any day now, is what I'm hearing.
Right. Sure. Just in time for him to run for president.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Whatever it takes.
Yeah. I'll take it. God.
But yeah, I feel you. And I think that is kind of like the thing that we don't talk about, is that either to be like a working creative, you either have to have family money and family privilege. A lot of the friends that I know who are these kind of like LA mamas that are just working very part-time, it's like their parents bought their house.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Amazing. I wish I could buy my kids' houses. That'd be incredible. Someday.
Yeah. You might.
Or everyone is just in massive credit card debt.
Yes.
And it's really interesting because so earlier this year with like AI, before I would say like last August, I was doing a lot of just like very, very content work, just like really kind of easy, like bottom of the barrel, like really thoughtless stuff. Because it's really great to do when you have little kids and just turning it out.
Yeah.
Think about it. It takes like 10 minutes. You'd write a little thing. It's fine. And then with AI, I lost like 2/3 of my clients. So
I was going to ask you about this because I was looking through sort of like the different things. I mean, you do copywriting, you do all of these different things. And I was just like, I wonder what's happening now.
Yeah, it's not great. It's been weird. But it's fine. But as of like August, like I said, I had like basically the bottom fell out of my financial world. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Am I going to have to get a full-time job? And then that's going to all go to childcare. Like, how are we going to make that work? Absolutely panicking. But then as a result, having really, really honest conversations about money with almost all of the moms in my like kind of network and people I met, just be like, how do you do this? And kind of finding out how common it is for people to just be like, oh, this is my debt. These are my debt years. I'm just putting everything on the credit card and hoping for the best.
These are my debt years.
Just made me be like, oh my God.
Well, I think that it happens to a lot of people, right? Where you drop out of the workforce because it's like, well,
especially in LA, right?
Yeah, childcare is crazy. It's like, okay. So it sounds like some people are making the choice to not drop out of the workforce because they don't want to sort of lose their positioning long term. Consider the debt just an investment in sort of future earnings.
Yeah, exactly, which I think totally makes sense. Or kind of drop out of the workforce and then also be in debt and then just hope for the best.
And then, yeah.
And I guess, yeah.
It's brutal.
It's chaotic, I know.
Now, you've always wanted to write a novel. You did write a novel.
I did write a novel.
Talk to me about...
novels.
What?
I've written many novels.
You've written many?
Many novels, yes. But it's hard getting a novel published.
It is. So you've written many novels.
Yes. So
one of them
is published.
Is published.
Bless, thank God. So appreciative, nice folks at Doubleday. It did come out, however, right at the beginning of the pandemic.
Was that good?
So no, because remember, no one was bringing objects into their home because it was COVID. So it's kind of like not a great time to have a debut novel out.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I guess I just was like, did it go on Kindle?
I mean, you would think. Yeah, it did. But it just, it was like an anxious time. I think it was like people weren't really looking for the unfamiliar, especially like kind of a stressful book about a lady being trapped in her house.
Oh, fuck.
Of
course.
Yeah. So it got a lot of really good reviews and people did read it and I've gotten like so many nice messages from people, but it wasn't like this giant commercial thing. And then that means that it's just going to be harder for me to publish my next book. And the one that I wrote after that was like a 700 novel about like 700 page novel about like parallel lives and like negative relationship patterns and ghosts. And it was very like cerebral and non-commercial. So that one did not exactly get picked up. And my agent actually fired me after writing it.
Dick?
Yeah, so it was a stressful. And that was when, well, she's a lady, but that was...
Or still a dick.
She's not a dick. She's, a very nice lady, very commercially minded and successful lady. And God bless her. I hope she's doing well.
I hope you're doing well.
We're all trying our best, like, truly. And I get that you can't pour a lot of energy into someone that's not making you money. Like, I do get that. It's okay. I'm not mad.
She's very graceful. Really I don't have to be graceful. Oh, great. Okay, we have a new agent who's really cool.
She's
fine.
I love her. She's reading all my work. She's, like, down with the non-commercial stuff, but... Yeah, it's just a little bit more complicated than I think it used to be.
Yeah, big time. But to your point, though, it sounds like, there's this saying, like, everybody has a story in them. Yeah. But when you are somebody who you've always wanted to write novels, you have these stories, you can't help what you want to write.
Oh, totally, yeah.
You can't force yourself to write something you don't want to write.
I'm doing it because it's a lot of fun and it brings me so much joy. And maybe the market is there and that would be great. And maybe it's not, and then I make money doing other things, and it's fine. I mean, even when my first novel came out, I was so determined. I was like, I'm not going to touch any of this money. This money is like my house money. This money is not my living money. This money is my saving money. Because I knew how precarious it was, and I knew how uncertain it was. And I always think about this woman. Oh my God, what is her name? She wrote this book called Sudden Rain. Oh my God, I'm totally blanking on her name.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, I'll put it in the show notes. Sorry. So in the 1930s, she wrote this novel called The Whistle Stop. That was this huge commercial.
Wait, I'm laughing because you're like, oh, I can't remember the name of this novelist from the 1930s. I know, right? Forgiven.
Okay, thank you. Huge hit, right? And then they're like, okay, for your next book, we want you to like go on a tour and do all this stuff. And she's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm painfully shy. And they're like, okay, well then we're not going to publish your book to try to get her to do it. And she was like, okay, bet. Goes home to LA, has like, I think 3-4 kids. She's home with her kids. She's working as like a journalist. She's just doing whatever. And the whole time she's writing books. And she's putting them in her freezer because someone told her that if the house burned down, they'd be safe. So when she dies, her kids find like 5 incredible books. My favorite of which is this one called Sudden Rain, which is like an Altman movie in book form. It's so good. It's just about like my moms in Los Angeles. It's really cool. Some light trigger warnings. There's some violence there, but it's very good. So she just like put them in her freezer. And that to me is like, that's the most inspiring thing in the world to me now. Because I just like, wow.
Just put it in the freezer.
Just put it in the freezer.
I love that.
You're going to be dead. You're going to be dead. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Just do what's bringing you joy.
And it does feel good. It feels good to get it out.
Yeah, totally.
I think like now we're sort of in this instant gratification culture of like, I mean, I won't lie. I love a byline. Like it's so exciting to see my name written somewhere. But at the same time, just finishing something and getting it out of here and on is so energizing.
And that's a really fun thing about journalism too, isn't it? Is just being able to like consolidate experience and interview people and like turn it into something that's tangible. And
yes.
Look at and hold and say like, this is a little piece of this person's life that's going to be preserved. I think it's so beautiful. It's such like a...
And it's also preserving you at that moment that you were writing
absolutely.
it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just found some of my old high school columns from the high school newspaper.
Oh my God.
So embarrassing. I mean, I wrote the fashion column.
I need to
extremely embarrassing. But I'm like, oh, I remember that kid who wrote that.
Yeah, totally.
I forgot about her.
Yeah, I really feel that. I think since Simone was born, I've started trying to keep a journal. I've like tried to keep a journal throughout my whole life, and it never goes well. But this time I'm just doing notes in a Google Doc on my phone. And like when I'm putting them to bed every night, I just write down like an impression. Just an image, something that happened that day, whatever it is. Because it just feels like, this time is passing so quickly.
You're trying to hold on to it.
Yeah, I want to be able to remember the person that I was now,
I love that. For the freezer.
Yeah, for the freezer.
One day for the freezer.
Exactly.
Okay, so in terms of the many hats that you juggle, because you really are doing a lot at one time.
I really am, yes.
How do you organize your day, your brain to make sure that you're actually doing the things you need to do?
This is a very good question.
Give me some inspiration.
On the fly, I would say, yeah. Well, I do a lot. This is my unpopular opinion. I do a lot of work around my children. So I'm not like, okay, we have to wait till your dad gets home and I'm going to be entertaining you and playing all day. It's more like I read Hunt, Gather, Parent with Sand Yourself Back There when my son was really small, and it made me feel a little bit better about like just being like, listen, the laptop's coming out. She's talking a lot about being in these societies where people are just like, doing their work around their kids, and it's not siloed off. And from day one, my little guy who's 3 now has just been like, he's washing the dishes with me, he's cooking with me, he's doing the domestic labor, and if I need to work, okay, we're setting up some independent play, and like mom is going to be working, and we're just going to have to talk about it, It doesn't mean that sometimes I'm not interviewing someone and then he'll be like screaming in the background, but I'll just be like, hey, I'm here with my 3-year-old baby and we're doing an interview now, and people are really nice about it.
Yeah, I actually think that's one thing that COVID helped is people are more gracious than they used to be. I also noticed that for me, and I say that, try and explain this to my husband sometimes, like he'll want to just be in the space with everybody, but he'll be like on the couch reading a book or something, and then he's like, oh, like why are they gone? They're jumping on me or whatever. I'm like, no shit, you look like you're not doing anything, so they want to bother you. But if I'm in the kitchen and I'm cooking, they will just go find something to do.
Yeah.
But it's like the trick is you have to look busy.
Yeah,
because the minute you stop, they're like.
Yeah, for sure. And you have to kind of communicate expectations around that stuff, which can be hard because sometimes it's like you need to you're on a deadline. And like, for example, this morning, I'll tell you.
Tell me.
He had a stomachache this morning, and he was just feeling really like high needs and needed a lot of attention. And I just found out yesterday that I have a piece that's due tomorrow. So
and you're still with us today.
Noon.
Oh my God.
So I was up
what time
in
is
the morning. Yeah, literally.
Okay.
It's done.
Oh,
I did it.
okay. You're amazing.
6 a.m. This kid is like having a stomachache. He's having some big feelings. And I'm kind of like, okay, we're doing deep breathing. And then we're doing bear off. And then we're like doing this. And we're doing bear. And like, he's kind of just screaming. And we're just figuring it out, because that's all you can do.
You're laboring through it.
Exactly.
God. Now let's talk about these labors of yours. So you said your mom was your midwife.
She was, yeah, for both babies. I mean, how cool is that? I'm very lucky.
That's pretty cool. At home?
At home, yeah.
And did you have any sort of, like, you knew that this is something that you wanted to have with her? It's so funny because when I had my first one, I guess I had always imagined that my mom would be at the hospital with me. Sure, yeah. Home birth was not something in my consciousness, really. then COVID happened and like nobody could be there except for my husband. And then I was like, wait, I kind of like that nobody's around.
Yeah. I think it's really special when it's just the two of you too, you know?
Yeah, and then
They're really deep
moments. So for the second one, I was like, sorry, Mom, like there's another kid you now need to go care for.
Enough. Absolutely.
Sorry.
And I also think that just because my mom was a midwife wouldn't necessarily mean that I would feel safe having her at my birth. Because I know a lot of people whose parents are in birth work or aren't in birth work, and they're just kind of like,
It's not the vibe.
Not the vibe I want in here. Yeah, exactly. Which I think fair enough. Totally.
But that's also just a huge compliment to the sort of relationship that you guys have. Now, in your home, so Hari's working as a teacher. You're kind of juggling all of the stuff in a day-to-day. Are you sitting down together as a family, having dinner together every night?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
And in terms of the division of labor, because your job is more flexible, are there things that sort of implicitly are on your plate because of that? Or how have you guys kind of navigated doing that? Because I feel like often the person that has the least structure often ends up picking up a lot more loose ends.
For sure. Well, one of my big boundaries is that I don't do any housework when the kids aren't around. So if he's in school, she's sleeping on me, I'm not going to be doing housework. Even if I need to, even if there's like a ton of dishes and the house is an absolute mess, I'm not doing it. I'm doing my work, you know?
I like that.
Yes. And then something else that really helps is that we really kind of own our own division. So I cook everything. He does all the dishes. I'm not doing dishes throughout the day. It's a mess when he comes home. He does all the dishes, you know, and I cook everything for us. And we just kind of like having that divide and conquer thing means that I'm not tempted throughout the day to be like, okay, I need to be like doing more things, doing more whatever, because I don't have time, frankly.
And everybody knows that's what the boundary and expectation is. So it's very easy. Yeah. There's no discussion about it.
Yeah, exactly. And then when it comes to other things, like, I don't know, like laundry or keeping the house clean, laundry, he also is very, very
What about if something breaks?
I feel like who's going to clean it up?
No, like a...
breaks it.
No, like an appliance or like, you know, just something in the house, like admin, life admin.
Oh, for sure. With appliances are me. I can tell you with confidence because our washing machine broke yesterday.
Oh,
so.
no.
I know, I'm telling you.
Cloth diapering, no.
Well, we're not washing them, thank God.
Oh, you send them out?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
they're
good.
with the Diety Diaper Company.
Okay.
In Pasadena. $20 a week. Love them. They're the best. I could not
Thank
be
God.
washing my own
Thank
diapers.
God. Okay, good. Thank God. Great.
Yeah, but yeah, we kind of just, I think our thing is like, if you see something, do something, you know, and sometimes the house is just going to be incredibly chaotic and that's just going to have to be okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Now let's get to Backseat Babies.
Oh, yeah.
It's sort of a two-parter because there's the wanderlust piece that means that you're traveling with your kids when they're little, and quite frankly, I find the most irritating time to do anything with them for long distances.
I feel like it's so much easier when they're little because then they just sleep in the carrier and you can like.
No, like, well, I guess my age, I mean.
Oh, for sure.
No, this age is great.
Yeah,
The potato, fine, happy to be here. When you start getting to like 3+ is like.
I think I'm going to find out, yeah.
Yeah, fuck around and find out. Mm-hmm. Get on that long haul flight to Costa Rica and let me know.
Yeah,
So there's that piece that I want to hear about, but let's start with the genesis of Backseat Babies.
Oh yeah, for sure. So,
how did it start?
So I did not come up with Backseat Babies. Actually, this is Natalie Hill, shout out, amazing, at KCRW, who came up with the idea of the newsletter and was writing it while doing her full-time job. And I don't know how she does it, and she also has 2 young kids, so she's a superwoman, truly. And she had posted on LinkedIn that they were looking for a lead writer to take over, and I just bothered her a lot. My friend Rachel used to work at the station. I have a couple other friends who worked at the station. They all kind of vouched for me, which helped. And it turned out that actually my mom delivered Anlet's baby. So that was a nice piece of nepotism.
We love that. Of all of the types of nepotism, I think, like, I saw you crown a child is a really good one.
So I did an interview, I did some test pieces for them, and then now here we are. It's really, really fun. I'm having a great time. I'm loving it.
And it's wildly popular. I mean, people love it.
Well, I know. I'm very pleased. It's been really fun watching that little Substack thing going up, which is, I think, mostly a testament to how much people love KCRW. But there are a lot of people that aren't from KCRW.
People love KCRW, and
I love KCRW.
And it's sort of, you know what it is? It's sort of like Los Feliz back in the day.
Very true.
In terms of like how it's emotionally evocative. Like, I didn't grow up here, but like it reminds you of like a true time, uncomplicated sharing of knowledge and information.
How
with
great is that, just listening to the radio, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
My first job was
off
in
the
radio,
screen.
so I'm super
Oh,
partial.
love. Okay, so hence the great mics.
I love it.
But yeah, and I think that also just people are hungry for parenting content that isn't so child focused, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like thinking about the whole family as a system, and I really feel like the best and most sustainable kind of parenting is parenting that kind of like doesn't center the child in a weird way. Where
Yes.
you're attuned to their needs and you're listening to them as an individual.
Yes.
But it's not like they're the sun that the family system is orbiting around, you know? It needs
Correct.
to be everyone in concert, everyone together. And that means that, like, hey, you know, if you really feel like you want to go see the Bluey live show or whatever it is, like, sure, we can all go do that. But then if I want to go see some synth in the park, we're also all going to do that. And that's, like, part of our experience that we're going to share together, you know?
Yes.
It doesn't have to be so child focused. So I think my big thing is stuff programming and events and fun things and excursions that aren't for children, but that you could bring a kid to. Because like you said, one thing about me is I'm gonna bring my baby.
She's gonna bring her baby.
I mean, when Nico was little, I would always go to, like, my good friend Sammy puts on these readings called Casual Encounters, and I would take him to the readings, put him in a back bedroom to sleep, have the baby monitor on my belt, and just, like, go and hang, you know?
Your cortisol levels must be so low. Are you just like the chillest
Truly.
person I've ever met? Does anybody in your family have anxiety? This is crazy.
And that's why we're trying to bring the babies everywhere, trying to pass on the legacy.
I'm honestly shook over it. Like when your baby, like little baby, what perturbs you? What ruffles you?
Oh my God, so much. Are you kidding?
Tell me. I
Everything.
need to know what ruffles you because I'm feeling like you might be unflappable.
Oh my God, no, absolutely not. Please. I mean,
Flap me. Tell me.
I will absolutely flap you. So, like I said, I think one thing that's really fascinating for me, and I think a lot of us, is that toddler whine thing. We had a moment like that yesterday. Again, he's been a little bit sick. He was having a little bit of digestion. He got some food poisoning on Austin, and the after effects have been lingering, unfortunately, for the poor guy. So yesterday he decided to take all of the magnets and drawings off the fridge and put them on the floor, and then start whining because you couldn't figure out how to put them back up. And I was just like, oh my God.
And in your head when that's happening, you're just like,
yeah, I'm like, I want to yell at this guy. Like, I'm so stressed. So it was just like, whoa. I was like, wow, I'm feeling really overwhelmed and angry right now. I'm going to take some deep breath. Can you help me? And he did. And then he helped me, like, we put him back in the fridge. And then later he was feeling mad about something. And I said, do you remember what I did when I was feeling angry and upset? And he did some deep breaths, and I was really proud of him. You know?
wow.
But that doesn't mean I'm not, like,
teachable
I'm getting out of
moment.
here. And I just close the door and, like, go take a moment to myself. Because that's something that I definitely need to do, too, sometimes.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
We got to. Okay, that's important for me
Because
to hear from you.
I think it's so important for our children to see. I was talking about this with a friend today because she was saying she has I think a 3 and a 5-year-old too, and they're like at each other all the time. She's really stressed. She starts yelling, "Stop yelling!" They're yelling.
Yeah.
Everyone's yelling, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm the worst mom in the world." No, you're a person, and you're showing your daughters, hey, when everyone's yelling, we're all getting stressed. You know,
Yeah.
like that's fine. That's okay for them to learn. That is not a bad lesson.
Yeah.
For them to say like, hey, if you're screaming in my face, I'm gonna need to take a minute and like go in the other room and debrief. That's a good lesson. You don't want them to be in a place where they're like, 25 years old and their boyfriend's yelling at them and they're like, I guess I have to stay here.
Yeah.
Like, get out of there.
I didn't grow up in a shouty household at all. And so sometimes and I definitely am more shouty than I thought I would be as a parent, like especially in this stage.
Because I've heard, I'm sort of like, oh God, okay.
Because it's just like I'm so overstimulated, and I was a pretty low cortisol person, and I'm not really as much anymore. And in some ways, I'm like, I could have probably done with a little bit more shouting if it meant that my parents were verbalizing their emotions.
For sure. I mean,
Because then I spent time guessing. I'm like, I think dad feels this way, or I think mom feels this way. And it's like, why don't I just tell them how I feel? I'm feeling really frustrated. I'm feeling really angry.
Yeah,
I'm feeling really disappointed.
absolutely.
I'm feeling really sad.
Yeah.
And why don't I just tell them and show them and have a cry if I need to have a cry?
Throw it, exactly. Show them that you're crying, show
Rather
them
than guessing.
Exactly. And then I also think, and critically not saying, this is your fault.
Yeah.
This is something you own, but saying like, hey, I have this emotion. I'm dealing with this emotion. You can watch me deal with it. We can do it together.
Yeah.
This is a good lesson.
Yeah.
This is something that's normal. And that's something that actually I was talking about with my sister recently, is that she was saying that my parents, when we were growing up, it was the 90s. Everyone was getting divorced, right?
Sure.
And I remember
Very
they
fashionable.
fought in front of us once, and I was like, they're getting a divorce. And so they were like really careful. They would like not fight in front of us ever. They were having their fights like somewhere else. if they were going to have a fight. So my sister was talking about how, because she was a little bit younger, so she didn't see like, okay, they're fighting, and then now they're like kind of not really fighting in front of us. Hey, buddy. She kind of had this feeling of like, oh, if you're in a happy relationship, you just never fight.
Right.
It's just, you don't do it. And then, of course, that's not true.
And then she gets in a relationship and she's like, what's wrong with me? I'm fighting. What's wrong with our relationship?
And my dad has said that's one of his big regrets is like not kind of having more conflict in front of us, which I think is like nice.
Counterintuitive. Yeah. It's like not the thing that you would expect.
Totally. But like that's how you learn to move through it. And that's how you learn that like, hey, if someone's angry at you, it's not going to be the end of the world. They're still going to love you.
Yeah.
If we're having a moment of conflict or tension, that's not the end of the world.
Okay, now I know you just got back from Costa Rica.
Yes, we did.
Talk to me about your experience traveling with little kids. I just feel like kids have so much shit.
Yes, this is true.
That they require.
Packing is definitely more complicated. We used to be like a backpack family.
Right.
No longer. Now we are a very large red suitcase family.
Okay. So the shit gets to you too, just the amount of it.
Oh, for sure.
And are there any things that you feel like you're collecting in your body of knowledge for how to do this and have it be enjoyable? Because the things that I loved to do when I was traveling by myself would be like sit at a cafe and chill, go walk around, like not kid-friendly activities, not kid-friendly activities, but like, I guess to your point, you're just living your life and you're bringing your kids with you.
For sure. But I think the big part of it is like not moving around so much, just like finding a place, hanging out, being there for a while. And then also, like you said, finding ways to incorporate the kid and non-kid friendly activities. So like this past summer, we sublet an apartment from a friend in Berlin. My younger sibling lives there. We were there for a month with our then 2-year-old. I was pregnant with you. And the great thing about Berlin is there's just a playground.
Yeah.
Every half mile there's a playground. And anytime we get out of the US, I'm like, oh, you can have kids. Like, it's so much easier to have kids here. So it kind of weirdly simplifies things in a way. So you can be having like that nice cafe and they're like playing in the little playground. And it's just fun, and everyone's doing their thing. You're walking around. There's street sweepers, you know.
So in a way, it's like getting out actually makes some of the fundamentals of parenting a little bit easier because most places are better set up for kids.
Yes, I do think that is true. And there's obviously like places that I wouldn't go with kids or that'd be harder to travel with.
Like North Korea is not on the list.
Yeah, well, not now. You know, maybe when they're a little bit older. We do love a nice plate of cold noodles, but
yeah,
which I hear they do very well. But yeah, but just like kind of being intentional with the places you pick, and again, like in Costa Rica, instead of like trying to go a bunch of places, we did a house swap with a family that lives there. These two sisters actually who both grew up, they like live in the jungle and they have houses next to each other on this fruit farm. They raise their kids there. So they had like a little extra house where their parents would come and visit them. And we did a house swap with them and we're staying in this house and they had like Playmobil we could play with and it was like fruit. So we just weren't doing a lot.
Talk to me about the house swap.
Yeah,
so they
great.
came to stay at your place.
We did. It's a little bit complicated. My friend told me about this website that they're really into in Europe and I feel like no one here has heard of. It's called Home Exchange.
I've heard of this.
I really like it.
Yeah.
I'm a big evangelist.
So tell me about how it works.
We were in their house and then someone else was in our house.
Got
so
it.
We're kind of like non-sequential. So
yeah.
A writer from Paris actually was coming and working on our book in LA. She was in our house. Then we went to Costa Rica and we're with these guys. So then you're just basically can stay for free, which is great.
And how do you like prepare your house for somebody?
Oh my God,
to come?
so much cleaning. That's the bad part about it too. Especially if someone without kids is coming. I'm like, oh God, we really have to clean. And then the day before you leave for a trip is always absolute hell because we're like deep cleaning the house and packing and it's just horrific. It's not fun. It's very stressful. But then you don't have to pay for your place to stay and there's like toys there, you know?
Yeah. That's kind of the definition of traveling with kids to me is like a shocking amount of stress. And then you're like, oh, I'm kind of glad I'm here.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, I just have to survive
the
stress that is coming out of my eyeballs.
I know. You're just like bleaching everything within sight and just being like, oh God.
It's just...
I hope she doesn't find the diaper pail, you know?
Not the diaper pail.
Not the diaper pail.
Right? Okay, so now the last thing I wanted to talk about was the specific... all of your books and novels are different genres, it sounds like.
Yeah, although I've kind of...
What's the through line?
Thriller. I always say I read like tense books about weird ladies.
Tense books about weird ladies.
So that would be the through line, I suppose. But yeah, I'm definitely returning to a thrillery space. When she was born, I started a book that I think you would really like. I'm going to give you the first draft.
Great.
Sorry. It's like a Rear Window, but with postpartum psychosis kind of vibe.
Great.
Yeah, it's fun. So I'm kind of back in the toy space again, which has been really fun to do.
And
is there a through line? I don't know. It's all kind
well,
of
you just said it.
Yeah, that's it.
Tense books about weird ladies.
Yeah, or weird books about tense
Weird books
both
about
ways. I
both
think it
ways.
works both ways, honestly.
But you're not a tense lady.
I'm not a tense lady, but that's what I like about you can imaginative leap.
Yeah. You're like, wouldn't it be wild to be tense?
Yeah, to be a tense lady for sure. But we're all a little bit tense ladies.
But I also love, like, you're also this hardcore optimist, and you're writing some, like,
really dark
stuff. So
it's so funny.
it's
People
inside of you somewhere.
Oh, totally, absolutely. Of course, I have my inner goth girl. Please, but yeah, I feel like people are always, if they read the book and then they meet me, they're always like, oh okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't really see it, but okay.
Yeah, right.
Like on a book tour, maybe we do eyeliner. I don't know.
Exactly.
And then what do you think about, like, because I feel like thrillers have really been having this big moment for a sustained period of time.
Well, I think we're very stressed out as a culture, so I think that probably helps.
And you think it just feeds?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cathartic, isn't it? Especially as women, like you said, there's so much of this sort of like false narrative that was promised to us, and I think a lot of the thrillers that are the most successful are thrillers that are about people that have these seemingly perfect lives, and then you see underneath the surface, actually, it's really bad.
It's really fucked up, and
so
it makes you feel good.
Like, okay, maybe my husband who doesn't do the dishes or whatever is not so bad because he's not actually a murderer.
It's like when I watch reality TV and I'm like, I'm so glad I'm not doing this.
Exactly. You're like, look at that beautiful house, and I'm really glad that I'm not in it.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I think it's the cathartic thing for sure. And I also think that, like, even with, like you said, the rise of feminism and so much that has changed in the past few decades, as women, we're still not really encouraged to have those feelings out loud.
Yeah.
To have negative feelings out loud, to feel complicated ways about especially our romantic partners, and then in the thriller space, it's like, oh no, this is an evil person. And then classically, the woman is never being listened to and never being heard, and she's sharing her experience and it's being denied. So I think that it feels really good to be like, hey, that is real.
I see that.
I can't complain about Brian or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Brian.
Yeah.
We'll leave you, Brian.
Up there.
Sorry for the Brians. We won't complain about you.
I'm sure you're very lovely.
This has been such a fun conversation, and I feel like you've had this really, and you said, I don't even know if we were recording yet, like you feel really lucky that you knew that you wanted to be a writer and you knew you wanted to be a mom, and you're getting to do both.
Yes.
And I also feel like you got to experience this city in a way that's really special, that somebody who moved here 4 years ago, like, you get to carry your version of LA with you and still sort of live it. But if you're arriving late to the scene, it's harder to do that.
It's a hard city to get to know.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of the motivation for me for Backseat Babies, too, is I do know a lot of people move here when they have kids from places like New York or Paris or places that are just like a little bit of a faster pace.
Yeah.
And it's a hard city to get to know, but I'm hoping I can guide people through kind of exploring it a little bit more.
I mean, I told you made my Mother's Day with the Rose Bowl.
I'm so glad. I know I love the Rose Bowl.
I've been wanting to go since we moved here, and I think in part I was sort of subconsciously channeling you in preparation for talking to you today, when I was just like, my husband wasn't feeling well. He had done a great start of Mother's Day, but like I just wanted him to rest. But I also didn't want to just sit at home because I knew that I would be mad at him for being sick, which is dumb. And so I was just like, get in the car. We're going. And then we get in the car. I put in the GPS and it's like, you'll be at the Rose Bowl Flea in 19 minutes. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? It's only 19 minutes.
I need to know what you scored also.
I mean, the kids got... So that was the other thing that I think was really... We had somebody on a while ago. She lives in Long Beach. Kelsey Parkhouse, who's a designer. She has a brand called Carlene. You would actually really like them. Lots of dead stock fabric, everything totally sustainable brand. And she grew up going to the swap meet. And like, I had her in my mind too, because she said that as a kid, her mom would give her a little bit of money and she would like make collections. So when she would go to the flea or the swap meet, she would be looking for specific things. So I was kind of like trying to do that with them. I was like, okay, you can each have $5 and go crazy. I mean, they spent like an hour just looking at tiny little figurines of things. And I was just like, this is so much easier than arguing with you at home.
Yeah, right?
I wish the flea
It's so much
market was
more
every
fun
day.
for everyone.
It was so much better. I just got a lot of beads. I like beads.
I was going to say, did you make that necklace?
I made both of these.
They're so pretty.
Thank you.
Wow.
And I just bought a bunch more beads.
Oh my God, amazing.
From a cool
Can I
Ghanaian.
commission a piece, please?
Yeah, you can commission.
Incredible.
They're very well.
They're
This was the
beautiful.
thing is I'm not very woo woo. I can be sometimes, but
You do live in LA now. So
I do live in LA.
Some of it is going to rub off on you, I'm afraid.
so I
Get
started
some of those crystals going, girl.
the yellow one. I started making, and I was like, I'm gonna put my affirmations into my beads.
I love that.
And the affirmations were something as follows: You're a bad bitch.
Hell yeah.
You get your shit done.
Yes, you do.
Your friends like you, and like you know how to have fun. Those are the affirmations
Those
I went
are
into the
great
beads.
affirmations. 10
Like-
out of 10.
Yeah.
No notes.
So anybody who's like woo-woo curious or woo-woo adjacent, you don't have to like talk to the spiritual ether. You can just talk to yourself.
Or you can tell the spiritual ether that you're a bad bitch.
Or you can tell the spiritual ether that you're a
And
bad
I'm sure
bitch.
that they, she, it would agree.
Yeah. Well, this has been so much fun. Is there anything else that we should make sure that people know about the Emily brand of doing life in LA in this chapter?
I would say be kind to yourself and don't be afraid to take the train.
Don't be afraid to take the train. Is this Beverly Hills to downtown train?
Oh, so psyched. Stay tuned for an upcoming edition of Backseat Babies about taking your kids on the D-Line extension specifically.
Okay, amazing. We'll watch this space. This was such a good time.
It really
Momo,
was.
you were such a good sport.
Yay!
You did great.
Nice
Your
work.
first interview. Maybe not.
Baby's first interview. It was so nice meeting you.
This was great.
So
Thank
weird
you.
seeing the body behind the wall.
Team, I need your help. If you love it here, please like and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Subscribe to the Substack for full access to this episode's show notes and join the discussion. And of course, follow me on Instagram at Mutha, MUTHA.life for a daily look at all things Mutha. Thanks for listening. Be sure to tune in next week for another Chat in the Closet. This podcast was produced by Mutha Life, music by Ronan Landa. See you next time.